is up, everybody? Sunday morning, and is there a better day of the week? I just have to say, there can't be a better day of the week. There really can't. Sunday morning, talking about fantasy, talking about NFL, whatever the case may be, man. This is one of the best days of the week, if not the best day of the week. I know a lot of people out there, they love college football and they love Saturdays, but I love Sundays, man. I love Sundays. Been talking fantasy all week. Again, Tony Cotillo at TCotillo23 at Fox Sports The Gambler. Checking us out on our Sunday service stream. We start at 9:30 every Sunday. I'll take you to about 10 o'clock, 10:15. Then we're going to hand it over to Mr. Mark Drummeller, the wagering wizard, as always, teaming up with John Jansen, talking about best bets. And then we'll go to Sean Brace and Victor Williams talking about all Eagles content, take you up to game day. And then I will be back again on about 12 o'clock to go over some last minute stuff. But Mikey V checking in as always. What's up, Mike? How you doing, buddy? As always, big supporter. I love it. Talking fantasy football, talking a lot of different questions this morning. There's a lot of different interesting questions. But what I will do is we're going to have, as people come in, we're going to have a little fun today. We're going to do a little trivia. Now, everybody knows who follows me on a Heat Ratio. We do a little Eagles trivia every live podcast. Today, we're going to do a little live fantasy trivia. And we're going to give away a Sunday service sweatshirt. Okay, so one of the people live have to be live on this stream, right? You have to go follow me. You have to go follow at Fox PHL Gambler. It's right there on the screen. And then you will be entered in to win this contest. It's simple as that. There is the shirt right there. Sunday service sweatshirt. It's a really nice hoodie. It's got the logo on it. You can rep the brand, help us out. We'll help you out. If you get the answer to the trivia question, and basically you give me your address and we'll send you a free one today on this stream. So keep it locked. Trivia question will be coming up soon. And I want to see if anybody gets it. We'll bring that up at the end of the show. About 5 minutes before the end of the show, we'll bring that up. So again, what's going on this week in fantasy football? Obviously, with all the COVID testing and things of that nature, it's been a really, really tough grind for. I'll tell you what, fantasy football commissioners are making their money. Okay, they are making their money today because I shouldn't say today, up to these 6 weeks, because they have been so busy and so action packed when we talk about delays and we talk about bye weeks, and it's unbelievable. I mean, it really is. So a lot of questions I've had surrounded by certain players, McCall Hardman, because you have to remember with McCall Hardman, he's on a Kansas City team that we've all been waiting for McCall to break out. And now that Sammy Watkins isn't going to play, everybody's like, okay, you know what? Is it now his turn? Is he going to be the guy to step up? And I really like McCall. I do. I think, he's shown the ability to do so many different things in that offense. And Andy Reid, listen, I mean, Le'Veon Bell just took everybody's heart who had Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But I'll tell you, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised because except for game one, Clyde Edwards-Helaire really wasn't the actual stud that everybody thought he was. I mean, he kind of fooled us after game one. And I think that the Chiefs seen that. And I think, again, I did a spot yesterday, This Week in Football with Pat Callahan and Joe Torti. Every Saturday, they do a show from 9 to 11, This Week in Football. Check it out. I go on about 10:30, talking fantasy. And I said, listen, I'd be very concerned if I'm an owner because I think Le'Veon Bell will be the number one guy. In my opinion, Le'Veon Bell will be the number one guy. I really feel that way. I think he's going to be the top guy. And unfortunately, CEH is going to be relegated to a third down role. So if you do have CEH, just beware. A lot of questions about Kenyon Drake and Chase Edmonds. I've been saying this for weeks. Chase Edmonds is the guy. You start Chase Edmonds. David Montgomery versus Carolina. Got a lot of questions about that. Can Montgomery listen, Carolina is the worst defense in football against the run. That's exactly who you start. You have to take these starts. These are the opportunities that you have to take. And we're going to get into DraftKings pretty soon. Chris Godwin, William Fuller. Here's an interesting one, right? Godwin or Fuller. Godwin coming back from injury, coming back from protocol, right? And then you have Will Fuller, who's actually been playing pretty well, right? So that's going to be an interesting matchup. I think I would actually lean towards Chris Godwin, even because whether he's coming back from injury or not, and I'll get to my injury stance later, but because he's already developed that rapport. He's already got that out there with guys like Tom Brady. So I think he will be. I think he will be very productive today. There, again, sorry, I got a question on here. Julio Jones. Julio Jones, another one. Do I start Julio Jones? Somebody asked, do I start Julio Jones or do I start who did they ask? Oh, Jamison Crowder. Right. And here's the question. And we all bring this up. The question is, if you start, do you start a guy, Jamison Crowder, who is healthy, who's going to get tremendous volume in that poor Jets offense, or do you start Julio Jones, who's coming back from a hamstring injury, who they already said the last time he dressed, he was only going to be playing for 30% of the plays. So you really can't listen. This isn't Julio. This isn't the first round Julio. So these are the things that you have to look at. You have to break up your love affair for your first round and second round picks, and you have to go with your gut. Somebody asked Miles Sanders or Raheem Mostert. And that's a tough one. I think I would lean towards Raheem Mostert. You know why? Volume. Doug Peterson is not giving Miles Sanders the volume. So until we see Miles Sanders unleashed, we can't bank on a 73-yard touchdown every single week. You guys have to remember, without a 73-yard touchdown last week, Miles Sanders gets you 5 fantasy points. That's not good enough. That's not going to cut it when you're trying to win matchups. And that's either way. If we're talking standard or we're talking DFS, it doesn't matter. Those two things have to be on the top of your list. You have to look at them. You have to look at volume. That is the number one deal breaker. It's got to be volume. It has to be. There's no other way to put it. Now the Drake Edmonds I'm getting questions right now on Twitter. The Drake Edmonds thing right now. Listen, that's always going to be an interesting scenario, right? Because everybody's just say, "Well, Kenyon Drake scored last week." Yeah, but you know what? If he scores, why does that take away from the lack of production he had before that touchdown? You have to look at more things than just, did he score? Fantasy is more than just touchdowns, especially if you're in a PPR league. You have to look at overall production. You have to. It's very important. And if you don't look at that, you're going to screw yourself over. I'm telling you right now. You really are. You're going to completely change your turn, and you're going to lose games. I'm telling you, you're going to lose games. You have to look at volume and production. Very, very important. So Sean checking it. Oh wait, hold up. I forgot, Sean. I forgot to put the things up there. Wait a minute. I'm so behind. Worry about tweet. Look. We got the new overlay going. Okay, got the new overlay going. I got to get the banner going here. I'm just getting set up here, man. I talk so much, I forget that I got all these things going on here. Trying to share this thing on social media, trying to get these questions that everybody's talking about. Yeah, Molly. Plus, Julio has always had the MO in fantasy to have receptions, but not the touchdowns. Yes, he's always been like that, right? He's always been like that. And that's one of the biggest things. Julio has always been a good PPR performer because he's always been that 8 for 80, 10 for 10 guy. But remember that year he only had 2 touchdowns, right? That year he only had 2 touchdowns. So he hurt. That's why I don't go by touchdowns. So let's look at a lot of people looking this week, okay, at different plays, right? Who do I start? Who do I sit? There's so many different scenarios. A lot of people, are asking about Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Ryan Fitzpatrick has a tremendous matchup this week against the New York Jets. Okay, a team he used to quarterback for, right? People have to understand something. This isn't just about the matchup against the Jets. This is about Ryan Fitzpatrick. Ryan Fitzpatrick, if you haven't noticed, is actually the 12th ranked fantasy quarterback in the league right now. 12th. He deserves to be on rosters. I've said this before. People have to start looking at volume. Ryan Fitzpatrick, except for one game against Jacksonville, has thrown the ball more than 30 times each contest. That's huge. That's big. Except for week 1, he's only thrown 2 picks. He hasn't been erratic. But here's the thing, too. He rushes the football. He has 2 rushing touchdowns already, and he's already has 2 games with over 40 yards on the ground. People, you have to start looking at this. Except for week 1, when he only wound up with 11.4 fantasy points. We're talking about a guy who's been averaging 28 per week. 25, 25, 26, 31. I'll tell you what, they're better than Drew Brees. That's better than Drew Brees numbers. So why isn't he on rosters? You know why he's not on rosters? Because people aren't looking at it. They just aren't looking at it, right? Janu Smith or Tyler Higbee? That is a great question. Both have really, really good plays this week. Janu Smith had a huge week last week. He continues to have a huge week, right? I think Tyler Higbee against the San Francisco 49ers isn't going to be a good play because they have a tremendous linebacking core out there. Fred Warner is probably one of the best linebackers of football that nobody talks about, and he covers a tight end like no other. So I would lean against Tyler Higbee, and I would go with Janu Smith. Janu Smith going against Houston. Houston's still trying to find their way. Okay, after everything that's going on with that team, they're still trying to find their way. Twice this year, he has 2 touchdown games, and he scored out of 4 contests. He's only not scored in 1, and even in that 1 contest, he was still giving you 11 points. 5 for 61. Janu Smith is 100% to play in this scenario. So start Janu Smith. Yes, exactly. That's what I was leading to too. Thanks for checking in as always. They're the kind of questions you need, right? Eric checking in. What's up, Eric? So, Eric, listen, man, I'm getting screwed today, Eric. I got a game. Who schedules these soccer games, Eric? That's what I want to know. Please explain to me who does a scheduling when you schedule a 2:00 soccer game 30 minutes away. That just kills my whole 1 to 4 vibe, right? I'll tell you, Eric, we got to talk to these commissioners, right? We got to talk to these commissioners. Eric says, start of the week, Myles Gaskin. I agree. I love Myles Gaskin. Eric must have been listening to me all week. He's been in my Sunday service. He's been on my shows. Okay. Myles Gaskin is a guy that you need to start. He will be the starting running back. He is the starting running back, but he will be a starting running back on your team, man. 100%. That is a guy you need to look at. Molly checking in. Screw it. I would take Fitzmagic, no doubt, today if I had him. Molly says it's just disappointing he can't rock Deshaun's clothes after another win this time around. I don't know. Molly, who would you rather see him rock, Deshaun's clothes or Cam Newton's clothes? I think I would like to see Cam Newton's clothes on Ryan Fitzpatrick as well. I think he would look pretty good. Look, see, Eric, 2 p.m. in Royersford. Eric, who does this? Who does this? I'll tell you what, when I used to make the softball schedule for my daughter's softball league, I literally had a football schedule next to me and the softball schedule and said, okay, we are not scheduling games between 1 and 4. It's just not happening. And guess what? If I have to play a Sunday night game under the lights, if I have to play a Friday night game under the lights, I'm doing it, man. These guys are nuts. They need to wake up, man. They're killing the vibe here. Killing it. That's what I was saying to yeah, listen, exactly, start. I'm telling you, Janu Smith is the guy. He's the guy to start today. Definitely 100%. A lot of people have been asking about A.J. Brown. Do you trust A.J. Brown? Absolutely. He came in and he looked really good. All right, Tannehill has thrown the ball very well. I know he come back off an injury, but guess what? He's going to have – listen, he's going to be questionable all year long with the knee. When you have a knee injury, that's what happens, okay? It's just something that happens, and you have to deal with it. You just have to deal with it. I think Robert Woods is the better player than Cooper Kupp this week. I'm going to tell you this right now. I think Michael Gallup is the better play. I think Michael Gallup is the better play than Amari Cooper. The Dak effect, everybody else who, listen, I got to ask the question by Pat Callahan asked me, do I drop Carson Wentz and pick up Andy Dalton in fantasy football? And I said, yes. Okay. 100%. You know why? Because Andy Dalton, you know what Andy Dalton's going to do? He's going to throw the ball, go up and get it. That's what he's going to do. 100%. You seen it when he came into the game. Who did he go to right away? He didn't go to CeeDee Lamb. He didn't go to Amari Cooper. He went right to Michael Gallup. And Michael Gallup has been silent. You know why? Dak wasn't throwing the ball down the field. So I'm telling you right now, Michael Gallup, get him in your lineup. Michael Gallup is going to come back. All the people, including myself, that said Michael Gallup was going to be the number 1 guy in Dallas this year, and we're very, very disappointed. Don't be disappointed. He is coming back with a vengeance. I'm telling you, he will be very, very good today. Very good. Now, let's look at these DraftKings lineups, okay? That's one thing I want to start doing on here. I go half the show. We talk Nick Pacone checking in. What's up, Nick? 2 running backs, Montgomery, Davis. 2 wide receivers, Ridley, Godwin. 2 flex, Kittle, A-Rob, bench Devonta Freeman. Wow. What are you saying? You're starting Montgomery and Mike Davis. Obviously, you're starting Calvin Ridley, Chris Godwin. You have two flex, Kittle, A-Rod. Okay, so that's your line. You're benching Devonta Freeman. Yeah, listen. I mean, the only way Devonta Freeman plays in your lineup is if you pick him instead of David Montgomery. But David Montgomery has such a good matchup against Carolina. And I'm never one to go head to head. So you're going Mike Davis versus David Montgomery in the same game, the same matchup. So exactly, sometimes I frown against that, but I think this matchup is so good for both of them. I think that's what I would do. But yeah, I would definitely keep Devonta Freeman on the bench 100%. My boy Phil checking in. Phil Seifert, all about the Birds podcast. Check him out if you want Eagles talk, man. Check out Phil and his crew. Does stuff for me here at Heat Ratio Sports as well. Really, really good dude. Talks a lot of good stuff, man. A lot of good stuff. Traded Calvin Ridley for I love that. Now look at now here. Phil is checking in, talking about trades, and I've been talking about trades all week. This is the week you do the trades. You trade, you sell high, buy low, right? So right now he sold Calvin Ridley for Tyler Lockett and Michael Gallup. Tremendous trade to me. Tremendous. Tyler Lockett is 1,000-yard receiver. Michael Gallup is 1,000-yard receiver. I understand that Calvin Ridley has been really, really good. I get it. But those two guys combined are going to give him more value than Calvin Ridley. So I think that's a tremendous deal. I would do that in a heartbeat every day. Phil, I think that's a really good, really, really good play. Wasek's in McKinnon or Swift in the flex. Here's the problem. I like Swift. I do. I like DeAndre Swift. And I'll tell you what, the only thing I don't like about McKinnon this week. Okay, I'm a huge McKinnon guy, always been a McKinnon guy. If you follow me, I touted him in the offseason. I said he had a chance to be one of the number one guys in that rotation because Shanahan loves him. The problem is he's not going to get enough volume, okay? Raheem Mostert is back. And because Raheem Mostert is back, he's going to get most of the volume. Even with Mostert out, you have to look at what McKinnon did. Now, McKinnon did score touchdowns, okay? But, again, he played in 5 games so far this year. And he has scored 3 touchdowns, actually 4 touchdowns, right? And he's giving you a decent fantasy play, right? He's giving you a decent fantasy play. I mean, we're talking we're talking a good 15, 16 points a week. But last week, he only had 1 rush. That's it. And he was targeted 4 times. He only had 2 catches. Okay, week 1, when Mostert was there, he only had 3 attempts. So what scares me about McKinnon is unless he scores some kind of swing touchdown or screen pass, he's not going to get the volume. So I would go with DeAndre Swift. I think DeAndre Swift has more of the ability. I said this before. I know they brought in Adrian Peterson, and I know they like Adrian Peterson. But here's the thing. I honestly think that eventually, that what's going to happen is DeAndre Swift is going to be talking about getting the bulk of the carries. I think Pearson becomes more of a mentor, man. 100%. Bro, appreciate that. Listen, good luck. Good luck. I think you start DeAndre Swift with confidence. I gotta go back to Twitter here because our boy Cheesesteaks Controller Jason Finelli. Let's break down. This is a good one. We're gonna break down Finelli's lineup right now. Okay, live on a Sunday service. He start Matt Stafford. This is his DFS lineup. Start Matt Stafford at quarterback. Alexander Madison at running back. Love it. 100%. Alexander Madison is a really good play this week. Mike Davis. Mike Davis is my lock to be in your DFS lineup every single week, okay? Whether it's Mike Davis or Christian McCaffrey, that guy needs to be in your lineup. Justin Jefferson, very interesting play there. I like it. Yeah, I don't trust Kirk Cousins, but here's the thing. Justin Jefferson could take one deep against a really bad Atlanta secondary. He's riding to Chase Claypool. I'm not touching Chase Claypool this week. I'm going to be honest with you. That Cleveland game, my co-host, John Coker, PGH John 36, had some really interesting thoughts. Go check out the podcast, Fantasy Firebox number 14. Check it out before your games today. Listen to it. He had a lot of good things to say about this Pittsburgh-Cleveland matchup. Made some sense. I'm kind of staying away from it. Jamison Crowder, big volume guy. I like it. Jamison Crowder is going to get the PPR volume against a really good matchup against Miami. Mark Andrews is got to be the top tight end. I talked about this week. The Philadelphia Eagles cannot stop anybody from the tight end position. So Mark Andrews, unfortunately, is probably going to kill us today. Jonathan Taylor, really good pick. The only team that's worse than stopping the run than the Carolina Panthers is the Cincinnati Bengals. So Jonathan Taylor is a good play. And you throw Miami in there for a defensive play against the hapless Jets. Finelli, I like it, man. I wouldn't start Claypool. Look at Stafford a little bit, but I do like the lineup. I like what you got going on there. Managing these roster codes is nuts. Yes, absolutely. It's 100% crazy. It's bonkers right now. It really, really is. It really is. One more question. I'm going to throw the trivia question up here. So Phil says, also traded Mixon for Rodgers and Jones. Lost Dak. So you traded Joe Mixon for Aaron Rodgers and Ronald Jones. That's a tremendous trade, man. Honestly, you lost Dak. I mean, listen. Rodgers is going to be great, man, for the rest of the year. He's not slowing down. He's going to throw the ball. He's really solidified himself in that offense. Him and LaFleur, all that talk about them guys not getting along is all crap. It's garbage. Don't even worry about it. So you just traded Mixon, got Rodgers and Jones, and you traded Ridley for Lockett and Gall. So you turn. See, these are why trades are so important in fantasy football. 2 trades. Okay. We got Phil trading Calvin Ridley for Lockett and Gallup, 2 for 1. Phil traded Dak Prescott. He lost Dak Prescott, trading Joe Mixon for Rodgers and Jones. Tremendous. Now he loses Dak. Right now, Rodgers becomes his quarterback, and now he can start Ronald Jones in a flex, right? Because I'm not worried about Leonard Fournette. And then you have Lockett and Gallup in there. Okay, instead of Ridley. It's a great trade, man. It's absolutely great trade. So listen, I want to hit you guys the trivia question now, okay, because we got about 10 minutes left, okay? And listen, whoever gets this first, give me the answer first, will win. Again, you will win a Sunday service sweatshirt. We will say, listen, after the show, I will contact you, okay? You can obviously... You'll send me your email, get me your address, and we will send this out to you, in the size that you need. Sunday service sweatshirt. It's really cool. Something that we're doing here on the Gamer. Listen, COVID has hit everybody. Studio time is tough right now. And this is actually, I'll be honest with you, this is the safest thing to do. Okay. I've built this studio within my home for the simple fact that I want to be able to be safe. And I think, all the guys at the Gambler have done the same thing. We're able to bring you content from a remote location while we keep ourselves safe and keep you entertained. So it is huge, and we appreciate the support. So all you have to do right now, listen, all you have to do is you need to go follow at Fox PHL Gambler, at Ticatillo23. Follow 2 people, Ticatillo23 at Fox Sports the Gambler, okay? And give us one play. Give us one play. That's it. And then answer this trivia question. And you will be entered. The first person to get this trivia question will get this sweatshirt. So the trivia question goes as follows. Now, this is all fantasy. Remember, this is a fantasy show. So the trivia question is, ready for this? Okay. Who is the highest fantasy scoring player since 1995? Who is the highest fantasy scoring player? So you're talking about 1995, okay, up to 2020, okay? 25 years. Who is the highest fantasy scoring player since 1995? There is your trivia question right there, okay? There is your trivia question. Who is the high fantasy scoring player since 1995? The first person with that answer will win a Sunday service sweatshirt. And we already got one coming in. Jerry Rice. No, it is not Jerry Rice. It's a good guess, though. Tremendous guess. I really like it because you never know, man. Jerry Rice, he put up some points. He definitely put up some points. Let's see. Who else you got here? Tom Brady. Eric Jackson, Tom Brady. No, it is not Tom Brady. And I'm not going to give away what position it is either. So it's not Tom Brady. Good question, though. I mean, good answer, because Tom Brady has had some, electrifying seasons from fantasy football. Brett Favre, Molly says, no. Listen, Brett Favre is not it, but we already have a winner. It is Marshall Faulk. Marshall Faulk is the highest ranked fantasy player since 1995 was Marshall Faulk. Marshall Faulk, just to give you a little background, okay? Because he was, listen, Marshall Faulk was tremendous, right? Was tremendous. He had 2 seasons, okay, where he was just absolutely electric. Absolutely electric. And I'm gonna give you these some of these stats, which were, well, I mean, it was just unbelievable. When you look at especially year 2000 and 2001, okay, 2000, even 99, he rushed for 1,381 yards, 2000, 1,359 yards, 2001, 1,382 yards, right? 18 and 12 touchdowns respectively, and still caught 2001, he caught 78 balls. 78 balls, okay? No, actually 81. I'm sorry. 81 for 830. The year before, 99, he caught 87 for 1048. I mean, this guy was unbelievable. I don't know if we'll ever see a guy like that again in fantasy football. I can't believe it. It's unbelievable. How go Hawks. Go Hawks, man. Who's a Go Hawks? What are we talking? We talking about Seahawks? Molly, Dad, good call. Yeah, Wazlocks, listen, hook me up, send me a at Tikatol23 on Twitter. Okay, I'm at Tikatol23 on Twitter. Send me your information, man. And you got it, man. You were good. And I know you didn't Google it because that was fast. That was fast. That was good. I'll give you that. That was good. I mean, you listen, if you've played fantasy for a long time, you know that, some of these players, they've had these tremendous years. 100%. So let's look at this. Let's look at these DraftKings numbers real fast as we're, as we're closing this out, because contests obviously start in about 3 hours. Okay. We're looking at quarterbacks. Who is your lock this week? Is Josh Allen your number one lock? I mean, does he play? I like Jared Goff this week against San Francisco. I know it's crazy. A lot of people think, but I don't think San Francisco's defense has been as good. Kyler Murray against Dallas probably has to be your guy if you're going to go that high. But if you go down, like we talked about, Ryan Fitzpatrick, $5,900. I mean, that's a really good play. How about Ryan Tannehill, $5,900 against Houston, who's not been that good? How about Andy Dalton at $5,800 against Dallas? These are guys that you can put in your lineup. Right? These are guys Seahawks, of course, staying undefeated. My bold prediction. Listen, man, Seahawks have been unbelievable this year, 100%. I mean, listen, Russell Wilson is on an MVP tear. They have 2 guys, one guy in DK Lockett, or DK Metcalf, that completely breaks our heart in Philadelphia because he's a guy that should be wearing green. He is going to be unbelievable. Aaron Rodgers, you're asking, how about Aaron Rodgers? It was actually Marshall Faulk. Aaron Rodgers is a good one, though. Aaron Rodgers is a good one. Aaron Rodgers had some tremendous seasons, in fantasy football. But looking at this week again, looking at the running back position, Edwards Helaire is still the number one guy right now because Bell is not going to play this week. But are you going to start him? I don't know. Listen, Alexander Mattison, I'll tell you, I don't usually talk about backup running backs as being absolute locks in DFS. But if you watched Madison last week and you see what he was able to do when he came in for Dalvin Cook, this kid is really good. He really, really is good. So Atlanta, listen, even under Raheem Morris, I know they're going to try to be more defensive minded and they're going to try to shore it up. But right now, that team is lost right now. They really are. And, they're the 28th ranked defense against the run. 7,200. I really, really like that. I like Derrick Henry a lot this week. I really think that he's going to continue to build. Mike Davis is a common lock. And then you got to go down the list a little bit. Look at some guys that maybe, everybody talked about Kenyon Drake and Chase Edmonds. Look at that, 53 and 5,200, $100 between the two of them. Nothing, right? Look at James White is an interesting pick. James White at only 4,800, okay, against a Denver linebacking core that is not that good right now. So that's DeAndre Swift. We talked about that. 4,500 going up against Jacksonville, who is the 26th ranked defense. You have Phil Lindsay coming back this week at only 4,300. These are kind of plays down the line that you need to look at when you want to you want to get that stack going at top of your lineup. You have to look at numbers that are really, really low. Checks out our defense is horrible. The NFC is bad in general. Yeah, man. Listen, you are far from the Legion of Boom, my man, right? The Legion of Boom is a distant memory when we talk about defense, unfortunately. You guys had it rolling out there. Yeah, had it rolling in that stadium that, with Cam Chancellor and oh my God. You had some tremendous, Bobby Wagner was still there, but you had some tremendous players out there. Even when Richard Sherman was there, Cam Chancellor, man, dude, I want your man cave. Listen, I'm telling you, man, this is actually okay. I did this purposely because, again, I talked about this earlier. When COVID hit and we couldn't get studio time, I wanted to be able to do something to where I could feel comfortable. Went out, bought all the equipment, and I soundproofed everything. And this is my studio, man. This is my thing. And again, I'll be opening up this even more. I got some tremendous things behind me right there. Okay, I can slide over. They're that's my three favorite guards in basketball right there. Got to show them always. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, AI, 100%. You see the Philly stuff right there. Barry Bonds, one of my all-time faves. Tiger Woods, right in the back, showing every single cover he's ever been on, man. Shout out. Nice, man. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Worked hard, man. Worked hard down here for this, so utilizing it as well. Not a big fan of the virtual backgrounds. I will use them from time to time, but I like the realness of what I got going on down here. Andre, what's up, buddy? Checking in as always. Andre, my man, checking up. Talking a little fantasy. Let's look at some wide receivers before we get out of here. Michael Gallup, I'm telling you, right? Michael Gallup, $5,000. I'm going to give you some. Here's some sleepers. Let's go some sleepers. Guys under $5,000, right? Let's talk about guys under $5,000. Now, we look at these matchups this week, okay? And we have to look deep inside. How about Tim Patrick? Okay, Tim Patrick, my co-host, PGA John 36 mentioned him. He's been getting into the mix a lot. I've been looking at him, and I'll tell you what, he's right. I think Tim Patrick this week, he has a really good week at only $4,500. Okay, McCole Hardman is only $4,400. There's another guy that's a secret stash. Okay, how about Greg Ward still? Greg Ward's still hovering in that $4,100 spot. I think he will do things. Here is one of my big-time sleepers this week. $4,300. And I get it. I know they're going up against the Rams. I understand it. But I like Brandon Ayuk. I like Ayuk to do a lot of different things. Shanahan is learning how to use this kid. He's doing swing routes. He's doing reverses. He's doing runs. As a halfback, he's doing it all. I like Ayuk. I wanted him on the Philadelphia Eagles. I think he was a tremendous talent in college, and I think he's going to be that good for San Francisco. He's just starting to get his feet wet. Listen, 11.6 points per game, man. He's doing well. Okay, he's doing really, really, really well. So again, looking at these low budget guys, okay, you have to look at who can be. Man caves is too weak for Jigsaw. That's a man bunker. I like man bunker. I like that, Andre. I like that 100%. Let's go down even deeper. How about it's another one. My PGA Sound 36. Give him a follow. He's really good. Has tremendous stats. AJ Green at $3,900, just sitting down there. Okay, if you're looking for a flyer on a guy who they may look to get him involved. How about Willie Snead? Willie Snead, I'm telling you right now, here's a couple guys. I'm going to break down two guys that I think Willie Snead is going to score today, in my opinion. $3,500 against the Philadelphia Eagles, who really have had problems in coverage. Malcolm Brown, Hollywood Brown will be against Darius Slay, and Willie Snead is going to be that seam guy. And they've had trouble covering that seam guy over the top. So, I know they get Will Parks back today, but I just think Willie Snead gets in the end zone. And check out, again, Damiere Byrd. I keep saying this name, Damiere Byrd. Check him out. He is the receiver for the New England Patriots. He's only $3,500. They're going up against a 24th ranked defensive team against the pass in Denver, and Damiere Byrd has been getting more and more looks as the weeks go on. He is developing himself into the only deep threat on that New England team. Edelman is Edelman is a possession guy, and so is N'Keal Harry. They are not speed guys. Damiere Byrd is that guy to stretch the defense, and I think he goes long today. I'm telling you, watch that Damiere Byrd. So a lot of sneaky plays when we talk about low budget guys. Again, man, this has been a blast. 36, 37 minutes. Questions coming on all over the place. I've been trying to get them all, whether it be on social media, Instagram, Twitter. Not all the comments come onto the stream, so I'm trying to get as many as I can throughout the day. And again, as always, I'll be around. Again, Andre checking in again. Fulgham gets there as well. When the news dropped about Deshaun not playing, I think he's going to have another good game today. I actually agree with that as well. I think Fulgham and Ward both have good games today, even though I do not think we're going to win, and I know Andre does, but that's okay. Again, for Tony Jigsaw Cotillo, thanks everybody for joining in. As always, this has been a blast. We try to go 30, 40 minutes every Sunday. Waking up, I know it's early, but listen, it's never too early to talk fantasy. I woke up, I was elated, I was excited. Trivia question again. Who is the highest fantasy scoring player since 1995? The guy the last 25 years, somebody already got that, and that is Marshall Faulk, who had a tremendous 99 to 2001 and beyond. How do I DM you? You could DM either at Fox PHL Gambler, on Twitter, or follow me at tcatillo23. Again, follow me at tcatillo23. And what we do is I will get your information. Okay. And then we will go from there. Right there at tcatillo23 at Fox PSL Gambler, and we will get your sweatshirt, man. Great follow. I appreciate you hanging out with me on this Sunday morning. I appreciate your comments, your insight. For everybody checking in, I appreciate it as always. If I have time, I will be jumping back on at about noon. Taking us up to game time, getting those last minute fantasy questions in. Maybe some updates, weather updates, injury updates, the nature, but keep it locked here in 20 minutes. If you're a betting guy, you want to get in on this action. John Jansen, Mark Drumheller, two great guys from the Gambler at Fox PHL Gambler. And again, what they'll be doing is they're going to be going over best bets. They're going to be going over money lines, game lines, prop bets, you name it. They'll have it. And then after them, again, goes right to the Bird Brains with Sean Braves, Victor Williams, talking about this Eagles-Ravens game. Everybody, enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy football. Get at me at the comments. Get at me to threads at tcatillo23 at Fox PHL Gambler. And everybody stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll talk to you soon.